Welcome back to another episode of the 6 Yard Line Podcast with my co-host Noel. And it looks like my mic and everything's working this week, so we're good to record as a team.
Yeah, it was a bit of a for everyone that didn't realize last week we did record and then Sean's mic just stopped halfway through and that was it. It was just me sat in silence for 10 minutes. So we had to divert last week, a little bit of a bit of an odd week, but we're back and yeah, we're excited to talk some games this week.
Yeah, there was some, for both of us, good results, which we
Finally.
haven't really been able to say that at the same time this year, but some odd scores as well. Where would you like to kick it off this week?
Let's
The big
start with
Derby
the
match?
Yeah, let's start with the Tyneside punch up. Tyneside Derby. If you haven't seen the videos beforehand, they're epic. I love the banter between the Sunderland and Newcastle fans, and there's a whole lot of police in between them. So it's a whole lot of fun to watch that.
I have one question before we really get into it. Is it true that Sunderland will never display Newcastle's name on the scoreboard? They just put the word visitors?
I don't know that, but it does sound like some epic shithousery from them. So I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you, because I think that's pretty freaking awesome if they did that. Let's be honest,
yeah.
it's a pretty epic rivalry, and I think it's one of the most underrated in England. I think it's not because it's I think we've been a lot of people have been fed the Premier League is about Manchester United versus Liverpool and it's Manchester United versus Manchester City and Chelsea. And this is one of those derbies that's been around 100+ years. It's got real hatred behind it. It's got real passion behind it. And it's just normally a banger of a game. And I don't think it disappointed this week.
Definitely. You know what? I didn't see the whole match. I did see the highlights. But hats off to Sunderland. They've just been outperforming everybody's expectations. Being able to get the 1-0 home win off of an own goal, which always sucks, but especially when you look on the score sheet, like you scored, but you scored the own goal.
Yeah, that's the Waltmead scored at the wrong end, right? Especially when you see the striker scores an own goal, you're like, what was he doing? And then you see the goal and you're like, okay, now I see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
But, no. But that's kind of been like Newcastle's have had moments where, he's looked outstanding for them up front, but they haven't really been able to get the results they, I guess, were hoping for this year, all things considered, with their off season. But yeah,
this says it. This is exactly why I wrote this stat. They've won one away game, which is that maybe a couple of weeks ago we did the they played Everton and they battered Everton at their new stadium 4-1. That was their only win. So they just one winning 8 on the road tells you everything you need to know about them. And to be fair to Sunderland, Sunderland were very much worth the 3 points because at the end of the day, Newcastle didn't do an awful lot in this game to make it different. There was some, there's some moments, but at the end of the day, I think Newcastle's away form is a concern for them. I think if they can't address this in the next couple of weeks, they're nowhere going to get a new European place at the rate they're going because they just you can't have that kind of performance. And you look at this, and what I find interesting about Newcastle, if you look at this side, you look at the pace and the speed that they have on this team, they desperately look like a team that could hit you on a counter as an away team and score on you in a hurry. And I just don't understand what their away form struggles are this year. And you mentioned about Sunderland, but Sunderland got after them, right? And I think that's a little bit of what Newcastle's lacking, that physicality. I did see Bruno Guimaraes trying to wind up the Sunderland fans. I did see that. I did think that was pretty in tune with the derby. So I thought that was a pretty interesting moment. But you know what? Somebody asked me what I thought of Sunderland, and I'll put it up on the board. This is what I thought of Sunderland this weekend. Big energy, and they have been all start this Premier League season. They've just showed no fear and gone after teams, and I think that's a really big thing for them, right?
And I think you also have to add a fact that maybe a lot of people aren't talking about is if I'm correct, they're undefeated at home. They haven't lost a match all year at the Stadium of Lights. Yeah. So when you are able to, get the points that you need at home, stifle teams, whatever it is that you have to do, but you're getting the results at home, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, they've also had a couple of their players that we mentioned at the start of the season
playing
did well.
You've said it. I think even preseason you said it'd be nice to see them stay up. They have history. If you don't know the history of Sunderland, then you haven't really been watching the Premier League much this year. So I think, again, we just have to give them credit where credit's due, and I expect them to continue getting the results.
Yeah, they definitely look good for their position, right? They definitely look like they're a team that's got, as I said, I think they've signed a couple of players this year that have really hit the ground running, and I think you've got to look at that and say, look, their recruitment's been pretty solid. I think you've got, two of the really young players that are really hit home, and then Granit Xhaka has played outstanding this year. He has looked like player reborn. He did in Germany, and I think that's where he was last year or the year before. He looked really good there, and then he's come to Sunderland and he's brought exactly what Sunderland needs in terms of leadership. And he hasn't been the Granit Xhaka of the red cards of the Arsenal era, so that's really kind of helped him. And good on him. I do like a team that comes in as a real proper go and staying in the Premiership. And people laughed at them a bit like they laughed at Forest when Forest tried to bring in a lot of players and really try and have a go. And hey, it's paying off for them. And good luck to them at the end of the day, because I think they've really kind of just laid down a marker and shown Newcastle, hey, you want to fight? We haven't got the weapons or the money you have, but we're going to put in the shift. And I think that's been a great revelation for Sunderland this year.
All right, so that is it for match week 16. We will be back for another episode next week. As usual, if you're not already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And of course, smash a like, leave a comment, give us some feedback. I'm Sean, that's Noel. Anything else, my friend?
That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you on the other side.
All right. Take care.